Hey, what's up, guys? Main here with another YouTube video for y'all. The stream we did on Friday went absolutely bonkers. I miss doing those streams with you guys. They're a lot of fun. They're more interactive. So maybe I'll start mixing one of those in a week again, but I'm not going to stop with these short updates because I know how much you guys like them. The markets, obviously, huge collapse on Friday, right? Massive collapse. We saw many altcoins go down, 50, 60, 70%. I don't think we fully know the fallout or the contagion of what happened yet. Generally, these exchanges underreport the amount of liquidations. They're saying something like $19 billion in liquidations. There's, speculation about what happened. Was it the cross-margin collateral used by these centralized exchanges causing this massive event in altcoins? I think there's a couple really important things that you need to take away from this event, okay? Number one, leverage is extremely, extremely dangerous. Most of you have no business touching leverage. It is not worth it. I don't want to kick a man when he's down, but we're going to use Bonk Guy as an example here because this guy was in from such low prices and up so much, you would think he can't get liquidated. Well, he was liquidated for multiple 8-figure positions. We had another guy, White Whale. Again, I'm not shitting on these guys in particular. These guys are skilled enough to be making millions of dollars trading leverage. Even they got caught in a move like this. So if you're new, if you don't really fully understand how to use leverage and how it works, you need to be really, really careful. Many people don't even understand the difference between isolated margin and cross margin. Isolated margin means if you get liquidated, only the margin you put up for that position can be liquidated. Cross margin means if you put up, means your entire account is being used as the margin for that position. So if you have a move like we have on Friday, your entire account can get wiped. So we are going to see a lot of dead bodies float up over the coming days. All right. So number one thing, leverage is very dangerous. Even low leverage people got wiped out. Be very careful. You need to know what you're doing before you even consider using leverage. I don't care if you have stop losses on. In events like that, sometimes your stops don't work. We had exchanges like Lighter go down, go dark completely. Orders not triggering, okay? Got to be very careful. Spot is where you want to be, in my opinion, for the vast majority of you. The second thing I want you to do is I want you to prune your feed. That could also include unfollowing me. A lot of people speak so authoritatively on Twitter about stuff they have no idea about. Okay, there are people on Twitter who have been telling you to buy altcoins and that alt season is coming for the last 6 months, 1 year, 2 years. Some of these altcoins just made new all-time lows, okay? And these same people are now telling you, buy the dip, they liquidated everyone, up only V reversal, max pain is up from here. The vast majority of these people do not trade. They do not make money from trading. They make money from sponsorships, coin deals, all sorts of other things. That allows them to be a perma bull no matter what happens. It's like the inverse of Capo. He's always bearish and then eventually he's right. Eventually these people are going to be right. There will be an alt season. But if you actually followed their advice, you have no money left anyway. So use this as an opportunity to prune your feed. There's a lot of people on Twitter that have big followings that post authoritatively as if they know what they're talking about. These people don't. Many of them are broke. Many of them have been around for multiple cycles and they have no money to show for it. Why would you take advice from that person? You shouldn't be taking advice from anyone on the internet. That's the bottom line. But at least use some modicum of critical thinking to see if this person has at least a track record of being right. Do they call the market in both directions? Do they admit when they're wrong? Or are they just a perma bull? Or are they just someone who seems to be constantly shilling whatever the flavor of the week is? These types of events really see, when the tide goes out, you really get to see who's been swimming naked, swimming with their pants down, okay? So use this opportunity to prune your feed. I think it's very important. The last thing I want to touch on is this is a great lesson, as painful as it may be. But if you are a crypto newbie and this is your first mass liquidation event, this is a nasty one. I've been around for a lot of these. This is a nasty one, but you are going to learn from this. Maybe you don't use leverage as much anymore, right? Maybe you're not just always buying altcoins nonstop and realize that most of this stuff is vapor and it's going to zero. Maybe you took a huge hit and now you're going to work way better with your risk management, where you allocate your capital. And most importantly, you're going to become a Bitcoin maxi. That's what happens after every single cycle I've been in. More and more people realize the primary thing you want to hold is Bitcoin. The rest of the stuff you want to use a small bit of your portfolio to speculate on, because shit like this happens. Bitcoin is already back at 115,000. Some of these altcoins have bounced huge off the lows. Don't get me wrong, but some of them went down so much, right, that you got absolutely annihilated unless you bought within the last 2 days. All right. So I'll leave you with that for the rant. You're going to see a lot of bullshit on Twitter. Most of these people are coming out of the woodwork now being like, oh my God, V bottom back to the highs. That's Max Payne. They wiped everyone out. It's like, where were you on Friday? They were all pissing and shitting their pants. Meanwhile, your boy Maine, I said, hey, I think the bottom is likely in. I think this is the last shakeout before new all-time highs. I'm still bullish. Where were all those people on Friday who are now coming out of the woodwork now after the market's back up and it all of a sudden doesn't look nearly as bad, right? You got to realize most of these people do not know what they're talking about, okay? They're talking completely out of their fucking ass. You probably know more than they do. So just keep that in mind. All right, so just like my stream on Friday said, I still think that this is our weekly structure and we're still bullish. And I still think that Q4 is bullish and we go and make new all-time highs on Bitcoin. I think ETH is going to go ahead and make a new all-time high relatively soon because we're still maintaining this weekly bullish structure. That's it. I'm not, I think Solana, same thing. I think all of these charts, like this was the shakeout that we needed to prepare us for the next leg. In my opinion, I said that on Friday while it was happening. I posted it everywhere. I'm telling you again now. I think that this was the shakeout we needed to finally propel things to new all-time highs. The only thing that we need to be concerned about is the taco man, Donald Trump, right? He's tweeting out on Friday, blah, blah, blah. People are saying, oh my God, Trump's team's insider trading. They shorted before the news. Honestly, I think it's much more likely that the entity that shorted the market was out of Asia because they knew that this rare earth metals debacle was going to unfold rather than someone on Trump's team. But who knows? Regardless, it doesn't matter, right? It doesn't matter. Inside trading happened, crime happened. Guess what? That happens everywhere. If you think that this is exclusive to crypto, you're getting ripped off everywhere. Anything you do, I guarantee you, okay? The world is not fair. But I do think that the only thing we have to consider is this trade war thing. Like, is this going to be one of those things where Trump says he's going to do the tariff, the markets nuke, and then he says, maybe I won't do the tariff, so the markets look good again? He is very sensitive to the market and how the market looks. And we're going to see how the stock market opens here in like 18 minutes. And I think we'll get a good gauge for what to expect this week. We also have CPI. I would not be surprised if nothing comes from this Trump scenario. No actual tariffs get imposed and they actually figure something out, and then the market continues to go up. That being said, the market is sensitive to headline risk right now. So if we do get some sort of correction, there's a world where we fill in some of this wick. There's even a world where we take out the low. Either way, on Bitcoin and ETH and Sol specifically, I'm a buyer. Okay, so if Bitcoin comes down and trades sub 100K even briefly because of some headline, or if we just even get a deeper correction within this wick, right? Like if we just get a deeper correction within this wick, I'm a buyer. I'm not saying that that has to happen. I'm just saying if it does because of some sort of headline, I would buy it because I'm bullish. Same thing on ETH. ETH has moved up crazy already. I think this is headed to all-time high, $6,000-$7,000. But if we do get some sort of headline-driven announcement that sends this back sub, 4,000 back into here or even below here, I think you buy it. That's what I'm doing. Whether or not I'm right, whether or not it works, I don't know. But that's my plan for now. Same thing with Solana. If we get any sort of big correction here, I think it's a buy. I genuinely believe that this was the shakeout we needed. And I think that the markets are going to head back to all-time high. I think ETH is very strong. And I'm actually expecting ETH to lead the charge potentially for the next little bit here. And I am expecting a significant new all-time high on ETH up towards at least $6,000. Could we get one more correction for sure? But I'm betting on this being the next high time frame draw within Q4 for Ethereum, and obviously Bitcoin and Solana I think go up as well, but I really like how ETH looks. I think it's ready based on just the weekly chart. This just looks dialed to me. We have our weekly order block. We have a big sweep in the making here. We ran out that low. This looks primed even if we come and get another test. Where would these invalidations be for me on Bitcoin? To say, you know what, I was wrong, the bull market is over, or at least we're due for a much larger correction. If we get a weekly close below here, okay, a weekly close below, this is what, $98,000, I would probably think that I'm wrong unless it instantly reclaims it. So that's my invalidation, and that would invalidate my plans for ETH, SOL, and anything else, okay? Very straightforward. My plans for alts, I do think that this wipeout, right, was what was needed. I mean, imagine listening to people shilling you SUI, telling you to buy it nonstop, only for it to trade down to like fucking 50 cents. Some of these prices aren't accurate because they the perps prices like got pushed down probably more in reality. Like, so see Coinbase here, this only traded as low as 2, which is still crazy. Don't get me wrong. This is still a, 40% dip. But if you look at this on a perps exchange, this is why leverage is so dangerous. This thing went down 85%. So some people's stink bids got filled. I think if you got filled on any crazy wicks on alts, you're probably pretty lucky, and I don't know. I highly doubt we come and fill some of these crazy wicks. I really don't. I think you might have gotten super duper lucky, and even if we do get a larger correction, I don't think we come back and backfill these wicks like crazy. So I think if you got lucky and you were able to trade, because many of these exchanges just simply bricked and you weren't able to even buy the dip, you might be cozy for a while in some of those buys. That being said, I do think we are gearing up for an alt season. And I think it's going to be led by ETH, and that's what you want to see. But my ideal scenario is new highs on Bitcoin, new highs on ETH, new highs on SOL in Q4, alt season coming after that. Remember, alt season requires Bitcoin dominance to go down, right? Well, Bitcoin dominance had its big fucking squeeze here. This might be, putting in a lower high now, and then this will be your alt season. But the question is going to be, in my opinion, the most interesting thing to determine here is, does Bitcoin make a significantly higher high? If so, I think everything trades much higher. If Bitcoin's in the process of topping out and it maybe makes only like a marginal higher high, I still think ETH and stuff make new highs. It's just going to be perhaps shorter and not as crazy as some of us may want. But ideally, Bitcoin goes to like 150, ETH makes new highs, everything goes up with Bitcoin, then we have our alt season. But I've been talking about this scenario, guys, for months, that Q4 is going to be bullish. I still believe we have an alt season. I still believe in the 4-year cycle. A lot of people are now praying that the 4-year cycle is true because they got smoked so hard yesterday or on Friday that they need the market to keep going up for them to have a chance to make their money back. So we'll see. A lot of people got wiped. Lot of money transferred hands. I don't think it's over. I still think we have that other leg. I still think ETH goes to all-time highs and 6K beyond. Invalidation is a weekly close below 98K unless it's immediately reclaimed on Bitcoin. And yeah, I'm going to stick with my buys here. Now, do I want to say I told you so? Remember, I talked about, hey, Bitcoin never leaves these lows before actually rallying. It always gives you the SFP, right? Same thing at the highs. It always does it. It always gives you the SFP, the big fuck you before the actual move. And I was unsure why we left this low. Well, we came and ran it. So I was pretty right on my thoughts for Bitcoin. I definitely had no idea that alts were going to fucking nuke 70%. And I think anyone trying to claim I told you so on that, it's just stupid. Now, were some people right that Bitcoin was going to correct and alts could correct? For sure. But did anyone say like, these altcoins were going to evaporate 70, 80%? I'm not so sure about that. Regardless, the I told you so's is a Twitter thing. I do it. Other Twitter people do it. It's fun to do, especially when you're right. But at the end of the day, this was a arguably a black swan type of event, and you need to just focus on the now. Okay? Not what you could have done, what you might have predicted, what some guy said last week. You need to focus on the now. Realize what you got right now. You might not have as much money as you did a week ago, 2 weeks ago. You might have more, but you need to come to grips with the reality of what you got now. Erase from your mind what your portfolio all-time high was, what you thought you were going to make, because things have now changed. What do you got right now? And how can we maximize what you have now for the remainder of this bull market? Okay? The woe is me thing, I get it. I did my big fucking kumbaya session for you guys on Friday. It's time to get back in the fucking game. And that's what we're here for. I'm going to be here helping you guys do that to the best of my ability. But no more woe is me. No more fucking drum circle, everyone crying and hugging each other. Okay? What do you got right now? Count your fingers and toes. What are you working with? Let's make the most of it over the next few months. Okay, guys? So I'll be here with you along the way. As always, if you got any questions, feel free to leave me comments. Hit me up down there. As usual, check out all my bullshit in the description of the video. Breakout, The Haven, ref links if you want. If not, just tell me I'm handsome. All right, guys, I'll talk to you in the next video. Peace.